Here we go. It's June 17th. Actually jumped a pretty good buck coming into here off this corn, but identified some stuff spring shed hunting. Look at these cedars. Dropping a couple cedars, heading up to the pinch. There's basically a little dried up pond. I just weed eated a trail in, and there'll be stealth mode in the bottom of this dry pond. And up to the head of a ditch, I've got a ladder stand set up there, kind of an all-day setup. So it's now you got to get in here and do this stuff. Like I said, I jumped that buck, but I had a weed eater going. It's like farm work. So get a camera going here soon, and we're less than a growing season away. All right, here's what I got. You got this dry pond back here, entrance over this little dam. Cut my way in now. I got these cedars cut right here. And the plan is I'm gonna line this whole edge with cedars. That's in case there's anything bedded on this ridge, but I don't believe there's gonna be. It's just a matter of getting up into this joker. Be more of a morning entry during the rut only, all day type set. Okay, you can see that faint trail coming off that ridge. Before it was cutting behind and going down in this dry creek, cutting a corner. I've blocked that off with all these cedars, and you can see there's nothing on the ground where I cut. But if you keep following this faint trail that works around, it comes right here. So I want to keep some of that blocked off, but it could potentially be like a 10-yard shot, but had to get it up here because it's about 25 to the head of that ditch. And it's a big transition between bedding areas. Tough one, I think, to get into for afternoon hunts, but morning through midday, especially windy days when you could slip out possibly if you needed to for the evening, but really good all day set, I think. Well, it's June 19th, and you can see this all too well known, this autumn olive. I don't mind it in a couple little clumps, but this one's gotten pretty big, and you can see there's some additional that are coming out here, and so I'm out here doing some basil bark treatments. Really the first time doing this, so I'm going to kind of see how it goes, but just going off the recommendations. Local agronomist and a few others, our timber stand improvement contractor, he's been awesome. So just mixed together a batch here using Remedy, triclopyr, and crop oil. So we'll see. I'm going to try it this way, and then if we have to, I'll come back and I can always mow through this and do some more direct to the root type sprays later. But you just got to keep it manageable. I don't want it taken over. Once again, I get a little carried away once I get the saw going, but had kind of this creek edge that's been kind of open, especially where we just did the big cedar clearing, big timber stand improvement. So had a bunch of hickory actually kind of leaning out, taking out the sunlight from a lot of these oaks. Some of these oaks are bigger, probably could get them logged out here at some point, but the biggest thing I wanted to do was give our access trail a little bit of screening. So kind of show you, for instance, you can see all the way through this line around this curve right here, but and there's a few gaps, but we still got a lot of green growth to come up. Sun's hitting it, some still good growing season left, but it's hot out today. June 24th, about 100 degrees. It rained this morning, so it's even hotter, but went ahead into this funnel setup. I call it the tunnel. Trying to get a stand moved. Got it over into a pretty good sized locust. Had it in this other little pocket of trees, but I wanted to back it off a little bit. And there were some cedars over here that the deer were starting to kind of try to bed in, so I just cut them down, straight downwind. There's still a chance. It's one of those you kind of give up. You have a lot of bedding in here, but that right there, I wanted the visibility, and then I kind of made a tangle just downwind, which it'll enhance a little bit of bedding too, potentially, but it opens up my scrape line a little more. And I'm anticipating that buck, the buck I call the General. If he repeats, I'm gonna try to be in here. There's only a few certain days and a little window there, but I think he's killable. probably should have filmed that. Absolutely gnarly old hedge. It's cutting out a bunch of the dead stuff because that ridge I was on last year, a little bit too risky for me. You just had to be too fine with it. Sits right up on here, and I'm actually at the bottom, so I'll hunt a different wind now. Hunt these thermals as they pull down. Bunch of trails come off right in here, but I had no shots because all these old limbs were there. Man, I just got all cut up. You can see I opened that up, a bunch of old petrified stuff, probably dulled the saw blade. There's a heck of a trail right here, another big one right here. Be about a 20-yard shot. I got a few limbs I need to trim right here, but late June, it's the time you got to do it. Hurting, about 100 degrees, and just got to get her done. Well, I'll make my way in to fill up a water tank and check a camera card. Actually, just make sure the batteries are good, but finding fresh after timber stand improvements, this is what you can deal with, and I've got the saw, luckily. So here's what it looks like on one of my main roads in. Got about 5, maybe 6 big cottonwoods, so I'm gonna go in and get those cut. This is the time of year you gotta do this kind of stuff though, and that's part of it. I still gotta get that fire through here. You can see the sunlight just hitting it really well though, so a lot of good young growth coming up, but gonna back these burns through here real slow because you can see these young oaks like this. It's gonna be tough. We're gonna have to have perfect conditions, but we gotta get these carcasses out of here and just kind of start that rejuvenation process. It's gonna be pretty fun though, so interesting to see what fills in here this year. It's gonna be good. Well, it always ends up being more than you expect. Had a pretty good sized tree came down, hit the back of the blind. Thank goodness it didn't break anything after doing all that work to it, but see this water here, it's pretty good sized tank. I've got it actually covered up. I like to kind of bury it maybe. I've had really good luck with them using this. I just like to keep it fresh and take out all doubt for getting anything from it, but they love it because it's up close to bedding. And see a lot of that hinge cut stuff and some of the stuff that I'm getting ready to burn next year. It'll be really good in there. It's just a good early successional growth. Check this soil builder plot out right here. Got some recent rains. This sunflower's looking good. You can see all the other growth underneath there. It's going to be awesome. I'm going to actually come in and I'll end up top dressing my fall plot in here and just really lightly kind of more or less kind of disc over the top, or nothing I'm going to be obviously hunting over, but it's kind of a transition area. Just providing as much food as we can this year.